Hi, everyone. My name is V. Lay, and I am a mindfulness facilitator um, from UCLA. And I'm delighted to share with you mindfulness basics and practices that you can use with your clients, and especially to also practice with yourself to support your own well being as you support others. So, what is mindfulness? The definition of mindfulness here from Diana Winston, a director of the UCLA Mindful Awareness Research Center, is that mindful awareness is paying attention, I will say in a particular way, to present moment experiences with openness, curiosity, and a willingness to be with what is. So, what are present moment experiences? Typically, we're looking at external experiences that we see in our surrounding environment. We also are looking at our five senses. That is how we take in the world through what we hear, especially what we see. I think we rely on that sense the most. Also, on the sense of touch, the sense of smell and taste. And we take all of this in. And during that time, too, we also have awareness of our thoughts, our body sensations, and our emotions. And we typically don't pay attention to those three internal factors that's happening at every moment. So, mindfulness is bringing this kind of awareness to these things that are happening at every moment. And now it's more of an internal lens that you can look at to cultivate a sense of self awareness. So, self awareness is attuning to this moment to moment awareness of our attention, again, to bodily sensations, feelings, thoughts, what's happening externally, and what we notice with our five senses. And the key is to take this in without judging them. Of course, that's very difficult, and we learn to see how we place judgment of that's pleasant or that's unpleasant with every experience we have. When we can just notice with mindfulness what's happening, we notice with openness and curiosity, and we bring in this sense of acknowledging what's here, allowing what's here, and accepting what's here. And in this way, mindfulness really flourishes. We typically say that one wing of a bird of mindfulness is self awareness, the second wing is compassion. And when those are combined, the bird of mindfulness can fly. So you can really incorporate that in your day to day, moment to moment experiences to meet life's challenges with compassion. So, some of the benefits of mindfulness is about reducing automaticity. As a coach, you are supporting your clients to bring in new possibilities, to bring in new resources that they didn't realize they had. And by noticing, bringing in self awareness, we can bring in these tools that's already there. The practice also reduces stress, improves attention and focus. It helps cultivate self awareness, self regulation, and it improves relationships. Lastly, this is a fantastic tool for self care. Meditation is the practice to support mindfulness, it's awareness of breathing, awareness of the body, awareness of thoughts, awareness of emotion. So don't take my word for it. Please try it out for yourself. We'll be doing some practices together to support you in learning more about mindfulness. So, the basis of mindfulness is neuroplasticity. It is this ability of the brain to change, grow new connections, and improve with enrichment. 50 years ago, neurobiologists thought that the cells we were born with in our brain were what we had, and we could not grow them. So, that theory, and I will say science at that time was changed because of Dr. Marian Diamond here from UC Berkeley. She was able to, with her team, do research and to show that the brain actually does grow and change, and coined the term neuroplasticity. So I love this little brain working out, the practice of meditation, the practice of coming back to your breath to bring your awareness and your attention on your breath is this practice of working out the mind and the brain to build new neural pathways for yourself to support in growing and changing, and also to support in your clients as well. So, this was the stress response and breathing. Leah mentioned parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. We can actually effectively create ways for us to trigger the parasympathetic nervous system to bring in that rest and relaxation, the calm state for ourselves through awareness and attention to our breathing. So, we'll be doing those practices to support in resetting the nervous system to bring in that state of self soothing, self regulation. And it's so empowering, right? To know that we can support our own nervous system in this way. So, awareness of breathing practices, this is what meditation is based on. It is basically awareness that we are breathing. We are constantly breathing. We don't have to bring any awareness to it, it is done already for us, right? But to actually bring this kind of conscious awareness to our breathing, again, we could begin to reset our nervous system to self-soothe and self-regulate. And this is a practice that also brings in insights to self-awareness of your thoughts, your emotions, your body sensations, your senses, what's happening maybe in even relationships. So, in guiding breathing practices, again, this is all for you first, and then you can support the clients in co regulation, in supporting and arriving together to bring in this calming presence. By sharing this practice together, also, you embody and model a sense of care for yourself and for others. This is a practice that builds rapport by opening with empathy and possibilities. I always find it so beautiful to come into a coaching experience where we want to set an intention to have a practice of just breathing together. It really sets this opening for empathy, for possibilities, and supports with being familiar with the self. Because this practice is really about getting familiar, bringing awareness. So, I'm going to share with you 5 different breathing practices that you can use for yourself and for your clients, and trying all of them out to see which one really resonates for your client or for yourself. But I love the openness, attitude of curiosity and experimentation. And after each of these practices, I'll invite you to just notice what you're feeling, what you're thinking, notice what's happening in the moment for you. So let's begin the first practice. This is 3 conscious breaths. It is, you can begin with saying to yourself, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. And you breathe in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. And you breathe out. And you say this 2 more times. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. And the last one you could do on your own, saying it silently in your mind's eye. So that is 3 conscious breaths. And just noticing how you feel. And now I invite you to try that out on your own. Perhaps you feel more calm, more present, more aware. We are tapping into that remembering of mindfulness. Mindfulness is a state that we're all familiar with. It's sometimes we forget that we can connect to the present moment through this practice. And this is a remembering just to come back through our breath because our breath is always here. A way to support you to remember to come back to a breath is maybe bringing in a sticker, and you can put that on a water bottle or a coffee mug or on your computer. And every time you see it, it is a trigger, a remembering to take those 3 conscious breaths. And the more we could do this throughout the day, the more we can bring ourselves into that mindful state. Let's get to the next awareness of breathing practice. This next one is box breathing. Box breathing is a type of breathing that is actually used in the Marines, the US military, as a way to come back to the moment, to stay focused and aware. So, in this box breathing, we breathe in for a count of 4, breathing in 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold. So box breathing is something that you could practice with yourself and with clients and seeing how this works for you too. So it is a count of 4. And again, noticing how you feel. What are you aware of? How is this practice for you? This next practice is called the 478 breathing practice. This was introduced by Dr. Andrew Weil, who is almost a father of integrative medicine. And this is based on pranayama, the ancient yogic method of breathing. It is in supporting to help gain more management and control of the breath. So we breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 7 seconds, and you breathe out for 8 seconds. So we could try that together. So breathing in, hold, out, in, hold, out, in, hold, out. And on your own, you might notice that you're counting in your mind as you breathe in, as you hold, and as you breathe out, giving your mind something to focus on. Maybe now just noticing how you're feeling. How is that breathing practice for you? What are you noticing? Maybe there's already one that stood out for you. There's a few more that we're going to practice with. Coherence breathing. So, this is a breathing technique that is based on breathing in at a rate of 6 seconds and breathing out for 6 seconds. And the goal is to breathe habitually in this natural, slow down rate so that you can really take in more air when you slow down. That's what happens, and to support in your well being. So, this book by James Nestor really shares on this. So, we can practice this a few times. And really, again, we want to have a remembering to breathe. So, the sticker approach is helpful to bring that conscious awareness to our breath. Again, this is in support to reset your nervous system, to bringing a sense of well being, to connect and inhabit your breath and your body. So, breathing in for 6 seconds, breathing in, out, in, out, in, out. Maybe trying it with counting in your breath, breathing in, out. So, this is different in that we are not holding the breath in any of the approaches, and we are just breathing in and out for 6 seconds. And this could, be combined in a way with the three conscious breaths where you're aware, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in, and you're doing that with 6 seconds. So, just a combination if you want to try things out. Again, this is a laboratory of experimentation to see what works for you. And noticing again how you're feeling in this moment. What are you aware of? And the next breath that we'll be doing is more of a breath of, I think it's kind of fun to do, and it's more tactile, where you use your hand to trace up and down as you breathe in and out. And again, our practice of mindfulness, and we'll go into this on the next session, is what I call also bodyfulness. It is to help us connect to our and inhabit our body. I used to live from the neck on up. I was basically thinking about all my experiences as opposed to actually living in this world, experiencing it. So, our practice of breathing really helps us to come back to the moment, come back to our breath and our body. And I love this practice of 5 finger breathing, and it really supports because you could really feel the sensations in your hand as you trace, in your fingers, on the skin, using that sense of touch, and also to help with breathing in and out, in and out. And you could repeat it or do it on the other hand as well. And I think this is also a really great tool to support your clients and just to bring in awareness, um, especially in those states of overwhelm. So, trying that out on your own, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, out. Noticing how you feel. What are you aware of? So, of those 5 practices, maybe now you can choose one of them that supported you the most. And we can give a moment to practice that one. All right. I hope you feel more inhabited in the body and the breath. And we'll move on now to awareness of 5 senses. So it's really interesting that this is a present moment practice because what we notice of our 5 senses is always in the moment. So I will guide us through this practice, and it is just a mindfulness of seeing, mindfulness of hearing, of taste, of smell, and touch. And we'll bring our attention to each of these areas through this guidance. And I'd love to hear, or you can share later, but just to see how this shows up for you. What do you notice? So you can close your eyes or have a gaze towards the floor. And in this moment, even if your eyes are closed or you have a gaze downwards, like you can see light coming through. So we could just bring a moment to pay attention, mindfulness of sight. And now bringing awareness to your ears and maybe noticing sound. You might notice a sound of a hum, the sounds in the farthest distance. Maybe even noticing the space between the sounds. mindfulness of hearing. Now, on the next in breath, noticing the scents and odors in the room. Maybe you notice fragrance. Maybe there's nothing. Now, bringing attention inside the mouth on the tongue, teeth, and gums. Mindfulness of taste. Maybe you notice saliva or what you just ate. Now, noticing where your hands are placed. If they're touching, you could feel the warmth of skin touching skin. Maybe you feel cotton on your lap, or even the cool air grazing the skin on your fingers and hands. Mindfulness of touch. And this could be expanded all the way throughout the body. Maybe noticing your sit bones, noticing the warmth and pressure of where you're seated. All right. Thank you for practicing. What did you notice when you paid attention to your five senses? This is a present moment practice. It supports us to come into the moment, come into the present, and we can bring and reduce that sense of overwhelm where the mind might be thinking about memories of the past or anxieties of the future. This is a practice just to come into this moment. And now I'd like to introduce to you this three center check in. This is a practice where we can just check in and be familiar with ourselves. The Tibetan word for meditation is cushion. It's what we sit on, it could be chair. It's how we become familiar with ourselves to build that sense of self awareness. And there are three centers we could check in with, from our body to our mind and our heart. So I'll guide you through this practice. It's to notice what's going on with my body. Maybe you can notice areas of warmth, areas of coolness, maybe noticing areas of heaviness, areas of lightness. Maybe you notice areas of tension, pressure, tightness, areas of ease, where again, just being familiar with what's here in our body, acknowledging, allowing, accepting. And now we could check in with our mind space. Have you been chewing on a certain thought? Is the mind restless? Is it contracted or narrowed in? Or firming up a story? Does the mind feel blurry or foggy? Perhaps it's expansive and spacious, bright and alert. Perhaps it's calm. Now coming into our heart center, just checking in if there are any feelings here in this moment. Again, we tend to never ask ourselves, how do we feel? Our practice supports in becoming familiar with how we feel in, a, in every moment. Maybe there's sadness or confusion, irritation, curiosity. Maybe there's uncertainty. Maybe you can't really name it, but you can kind of feel a felt sense somewhere. We're again just being familiar with our body, our mind, our heart, and our whole being here. We'll close out with inviting our trillions of cells to breathing in, trillions of cells breathing out, trillions of cells breathing in, trillions of cells breathing out. And now I'll do a very quick 3 center check in that you can support your clients also in yourself. Just check in. How is my body right now? Hmm. How's my mind? Am I thinking? Are there racing thoughts? How am I feeling? In this check in, we just become more self aware, self familiar with what's going on, and inviting in that sense of compassion, of acknowledging, allowing, accepting. Compassion is meeting our pain or suffering, even meeting something we don't like. Oh, I don't like this right now. Meeting it with kindness, kindness and tenderness. Thank you so much for your practice and trying out all these practices. I hope it supports you, and I look forward to sharing with you the next session on bodyfulness, on somatic practices.